That is from an official government agency in Sweden, okay? Here's the kicker. I am on that list. Hey everybody, so I am in Los Angeles for the next few days, and then I will be heading back to New York. I've got my sights set on South Korea, and here's what I need from you. If you know anybody who lives in Seoul or in any part of South Korea or has worked there and can connect with me when I arrive, that's one of the biggest inhibitors to me just jumping on a plane and going, is that if I just arrive and show up, I won't really be doing anything. And so I do need to connect with some local. We call this a fixer, someone who is local, who can speak English and in the native language, and then show me around and explain to me what's happening, connect me with people. And that's task number one. This video that I'm doing right now is I want to talk about how I find the country of Sweden to be very creepy. I'm sorry, Swedes, I really do find your country creepy, right? I mean, the US has got some creepy things about it too. I've been to a lot of creepy countries, but Sweden by far has to take the creepy trophy if you were to ask me. When I was there reporting, people were scared to talk to the press. They were scared to give their opinions. I had to obfuscate the identity of a psychologist who wanted to talk about the issue of cognitive dissonance because they were also scared about what would happen to their life, their career, if people found out they were even talking about it. We heard that simply asking questions could make you deemed a racist, and this could affect your job, you could get fired, bad things could happen to you. Well, now we're hearing that there was a huge list of people who were blocked by the @Sweden Twitter account. The way this Twitter account works is every so often a different Swedish person gains access to it, and they can tweet about whatever they want for the most part. Well, they blocked around 12,000 people, according to the Swedish Institute. So now I want to tell you who these people were and why they were blocked. So, according to the Swedish Institute, a Swedish government agency responsible for the image and information about Sweden, said that approximately 12,000 international and Swedish accounts that engage in baiting, threats, hatred, and incitement against migrants, women, and LGBTQ persons, but also against organizations that are committed to human rights. These accounts often have a right-wing extremist and/or a neo-Nazi tendency, and they also incite to violence. That is from an official government agency in Sweden, okay? Here's the kicker. I am on that list. Dave Rubin is on that list. If you don't know who Dave Rubin is, he's a news personality based out of Los Angeles, and he is a gay man who is married to a man. He is a classical liberal. Me, I'm a journalist, and if you look at any of my coverage, it's moderate. Neo-Nazi tendencies? I was praised by people on the left and the right for my coverage of Sweden because it presented, as best as I could, and as many people have said, a balanced view, a neutral view going into this country and exploring these issues. But according to the Swedish Institute, I incite hatred, or I'm prone to. I have right-wing extremist tendencies or neo-Nazi tendencies, and that's absolutely ridiculous. You're on my YouTube channel right now. If you look at the page, my front page, youtube.com/timcast, you'll see one of the videos smack dab right on the front, almost right when you open the page, is a sympathetic story about Syrian refugees. So why am I on this list, and why does this matter? Sweden is, as far as I'm concerned, in my experience, a very repressive country. They are closed to dialogue. You are not allowed to think outside the confines of what they call the opinion corridor. We can see what regressive anti-speech behavior does when you look at a country like Sweden. Now, being banned, being blocked by their Sweden Twitter account isn't the biggest deal in the world, but it's important that we remain vigilant because one thing leads to another, and we have to call out this extremist behavior before it really does get to the point where it's institutionalized in a more dramatic way. We wouldn't want to have a media blacklist outright where certain people aren't allowed to speak on certain programs. We don't want to go back to McCarthyism where people were labeled communists and then shut out of the industry. Sweden is kind of like a canary in a coal mine. We're seeing this anti-speech behavior happen across the US as well. People literally burning free speech signs, people who are opposed to open discussion. This is what happens when you don't allow open discussion. There is a list of people that makes mostly no sense. Now, Lauren Southern is on there as well. There's a bunch of anti-feminists, anti-social justice people who are on there. There's probably some real neo-Nazis and racists on there, I'm sure. If you came to me and said that someone like Lauren Southern or Gavin McInnes would be on that list, I'd give you a chuckle and say, yeah, I mean, look, Sweden's a feminist country, so of course these people are going to be like, these people are crazy, and block them. But when it comes to banning journalists, people like me, who, again, I'm moderate, that's where it gets dangerous. Because you're not allowed to have a discussion about this, right? There was no, hey, should we include a journalist from the US on this list? No, it was literally just put the people's names on the list, don't talk about it, and then block them. The Swedish Institute removed the block list after it became a big scandal, a big controversy. But you have to recognize that it really is bad if a government agency is going to make these accusations, put out a list of people and say these are people with neo-Nazi tendencies. It's getting scary, especially when someone like me, who's moderate, is accused of being a neo-Nazi. And I can speak for myself, but there's a lot more people on this list who are not racist, who are anti-violence, who are generally chill people, journalists, politicians, who are being accused of having neo-Nazi tendencies. That's just crazy. It's McCarthyism 2.0 almost. If we don't stop this behavior before it happens, say in the United States, it can get really bad to the point where we get locked down and aren't allowed to have open discussions. And if you can't have an open discussion, you can't have progress, right? I have friends who are far left feminists and friends who are far right anti-feminists. And although I don't think we might change all of our opinions, having an open discussion is important because that's how you learn and progress. We don't want to say there's only one way to do something, there's only one way to talk about something. We want to hear the bad ideas too, because that'll help change our perspectives. And although not every idea is good, and not every implementation of them is good, we learn when we have multiple iterations. This is insane behavior. Sweden, I'm sorry. I find your country to be very, very creepy, and I don't want to go back. I really don't. It was really weird to see how scared people were to speak. We had some creepy guy, I believe it was a government agent, we call them spooks, like lurking around our hotel. Very, very creepy stuff when I was there. So you can check out this database and see if you're on it. I don't think the average person will be on it, but if you're somebody who has a decent presence online, you can check it out. Check it out, search through the database and see who's in there, because the more names that I see, the more I'm shocked that this is really weird and crazy. So anyway, thanks for hanging out. More videos to come, new video every day, 6 p.m. If you like the video, click the like button, comment below, and let me know what you think. Subscribe for more videos like this, and I will see you all tomorrow.